Alright, in this value, I meant to say in this lesson, and I said in this value. That's nice. Alright. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about variables again. We are going to be talking about math. Math in programming is very, very important. Don't think about it like, oh, this is so boring. This is just like in school. Don't. Okay? Math is very, very important in programming. It is very fun to do stuff. And for your use, you're going to be doing very, very simple math, but produce beautiful results in your Python programming journey. So we're going to be talking about math, we're going to be talking about variables. And we're actually going to be talking about variables that have integer values. Yeah. So because you can only do math on numbers, on integers, so we're only going to be playing around with variables that are integers. So let's do an example. Let's say I just have a number 9, okay, just off the top of my head. We can do some operations on this. Let's say, okay, what do I mean by operations? I mean plus, minus, times, divide. And the syntax for this, how you actually do this, is you can just do a plus 10. And that's math. That's math right there, baby. So remembering what you learned in the previous lesson, we can print out the value of num. Okay, we can print out the value of num. And then we can see that it's 19. That's weird because 9 plus 10 is 21. Okay, if you don't get that joke, then it's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, the result is correct. You see, the value of num, when we created the value, we said, okay, let the value of num be equals to 9 plus 10. Then the program goes, ayo, why he so leceh? He add another step. It's fine. I'll do the math lah. 9 plus 10 it's 19. Then Python created the variable num with the value 19, and it did the math. So math, there we go. Let's try something else. Let's do 6 divided by 3. In Python, or in pretty much any programming language out there, plus is add, minus, alright, minus is minus, nice. This slash here is divide. That slash is divide. And this star, this asterisk, is multiply or times. Multiply or times, yeah, whatever floats your boat, yeah. So basically what I'm saying here is 6 divided by 3. And then we can check that 2.0. Yep. 6 divided by 3 is indeed 2.0. So now you may be asking, hey, why is there this 0.0? What's going on? Do not worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll talk about it a lot more when you guys are ready, but currently you are not. This is like, so far there's been like 15 minutes of lesson time, guys. Chillax. Okay, chillax. So we have times. Yeah, let's try times. Let's try 10 times 10. 10 times 10. Alright, I messed that up. 10 times 10, 100. Nice, we got math going on. But this is not as far as we can take it. Let's do other stuff now. Let's say we have num1, let that be 8. Num2, let that be 10. We can actually create a new variable. Let's say, num3. We can call the value of other variables. So we can say, okay, I'm creating a variable num3. Let the value be num1 plus num2. Alright, and then let's see what that... 18. because num1 is 8, so this is actually 8. Num2 is 10. Num2 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18, obviously. So we can do math with the value of variables instead of just values itself. And then those of you who can't sit in your chairs, you're asking me now, what is the point of this? And then my reply is, why are you asking that? Why are you asking that? Please just relax. Again, it's 15 minutes of cumulative time of this third video. Please relax. Please relax. The patience of you guys is so. Okay. This is important to know. Why is that? Let's say let's say we have length as a variable, and then let's say we have breadth as another variable, and then let's say we put these values in, and then we are like, okay, I want to find the value of and let's say the length of the breadth, right? Those are referring to an imaginary square. So in school, we learn that the area of a square is the length multiplied by the breadth. So let's say we want the area now. So let's create a new variable. And then let's say, all right, length multiplied by breadth. So yeah, length multiplied by breadth, that will give us the area. And then let's just print that out. So, and we see that the area of this imaginary square is 720. Nice. And now, because we did our calculations this way, we can tweak the values with ease. So let's say, okay, what if it's, oh, I just realized I said square, but it's not a square, because for a square, the length of the breadth needs to be equal. So I guess this is this finds the area of any rectangle. So let's say we now have a new rectangle of side 8, which means it's a square. We run the program again. The area is 64. Nice, nice. So yeah, math. We don't just have plus, minus, times, and divide. We also have this. Let's say we have num, and let's say num is 66. We can do this thing where num is now let's say we want to have number be equals to number plus 1. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Let's say we have any variable and we want to add 1 to it. So how we can do that is you can say, oh, the new value of that variable, of that number, is equals to the old value plus 1. And can you see that that does work, because the old value will be 66 plus 1, which is 67, and then that would be the new value of num. So it works out. We can use this method to add 1 to any variable that is of number. But there is a different way, there is a specific syntax to do this. We can actually, instead of doing this, we can do this. So instead of this, we can do this. Num is equals to num plus 1, wrong. Plus equals 1. Six, 7. You see that? We can also do, okay, now let's say I want to take a variable and just have that variable minus 1 to get a new value. Then we can do this. we can do this. So now we should get 65. And then here are a few more niche ones. Let's say you want the number to be equals to the number itself multiplied by like 8 or whatever. Instead of doing this, you can do number is this 8. So, and then, okay, so it will be 66 times 8, which is something, I don't know. So, let's find out. 66 times 8 is 528, I guess. Yeah. So that's how you can do that, and you can do the same with divide, but I'm not going to show that. Yeah. So, okay, let's do something else. I'm going to now teach you how to actually input stuff into the program. So just now we had that length, breadth thing, right? And then we had, oh, area is length multiplied by breadth, and then we print the area. Just now, how we tweaked the values was by going into the code itself and then changing stuff. But there is actually a much better way to do this, and that is with the input function. That is the input function. So what is the input function? Okay, the input function allows you to type. So if I just run this program, you see there's this weird bar here. I can actually start typing with my keyboard. Yeah, I can start typing with my keyboard. And if I'm done typing, I can actually press enter, and that actually, the input function basically spits out what I typed after I pressed enter. What this means is that, let's say I want to say, oh, name. So now I'm creating a variable name, and the value is going to be the output of the input function. Because again, the input function will take whatever you type into it, and then after you press enter, it will just spit it out. And in this case, it's spitting it out into name. So let's say, okay, so now again, it's querying us to type. Let's say my name is Bob. And then after pressing enter, it's done creating the variable. Next line does nothing. Next line prints the name. Here, or let's make it, and then it prints, that's why there's 2. Let's make it a bit more clear. Is my name. So let's try that again. Yeah, Bob is my name. And we can do this with numbers as well. So let's say age. Okay, age is my age. So I hope I have trained you appropriately such that alarm bells are now ringing in your head. Because if you remember, I said, oh, the print statement, the print function can only have stuff spitting out, right? That they're all the same type. But in this case, wouldn't I be doing a number with a string? But let me show you something interesting. No errors whatsoever. Why is that? Isn't 6, 7 a number? So number, string, you add together. Oh, it's not the same type. So what's going on with that, right? Basically, whatever the input spits out is a string. It is always a string. And the reason is because when you're doing input, you're typing stuff out, it counts all of this as text. So that means if I just have numbers, it is considered text as well. And as we know, text is string. In this case, they are strings. the type is string, and as such, you're saving when what input does, it will spit out this long number, the speed of light. Okay, that's kidding. It's not the speed of light. It will spit out this number as a string and create the variable age with that value, this number, but it's a string. That's not what I meant to do. Like that. So to show you, I can just do type age. It's a string. So that is one thing to know about input. And this is important because let's say now I go back to this example. Okay, let's say I go back to this example. Let's say I want to do input. I want to say, oh, length, and then we get what the user wants the length to be, breadth, what the user wants it to be. Let's try this now. Let's say, okay, 6 and 7, and we get an error. And why is that? Look at the error. You cannot multiply non-integers of type string. Remember at the start of this video, I said you can only do math with numbers, with integers. And what I just taught you is that is that whatever input spits out is a string, which means the type of the value of length is a string. Same for breadth is a string. You cannot do string multiplied by string because multiply is a math operation, and going back to my first statement, you cannot do math with things other than numbers and strings. Okay, there's a small exception, but like you don't need to worry about that for now. You cannot do that, yeah. So, oh my gosh, what can we do? Oh, we should give up now. No, you do not give up. Remember how we can use this function. Remember the functions that we can use to convert values into different types, like this function, this function, this function, which is in the previous video. We can use these here. So, okay, let's say, okay, this input will spit out a string, correct? How about we change this value into integer? And same here. Same here. So now let's try it again. So let's say 8, and it works. Because now it takes the string 8, this is the string 8, converts it into an integer. Same here, integer times integer works because you can do math with numbers. So you've learned a lot today. You've learned about math with numbers, math with variables, and you've learned about the input function. So your task for this lesson will be, you see how I created this area calculator? Do something like this for your task. For example, let's say we have 10 morsels of pie, and let's say the variable is the number of people we want to distribute the 10 morsels of pie to. How many morsels does each person get? That is an idea. That's a creative idea that you could carry out for this task. So to reiterate, your task is to do something like this this area calculator, and then yeah, that's your task. Alright, see you in the next one.